What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we're going to be talking about an absolute game changer of a weapon. A weapon I think is going to cement itself as one of the top tier PvE weapons in all of Destiny 2, and that is the Perfect Paradox unique legendary shotgun. Now, this shotgun is acquired with somewhat of a secret quest involved with the prophecies and the forge weapons in the new Curse of Osiris expansion. If you want to know exactly how to get it, I've done a video outlining how to complete the quest, so that's annotated above right now. Essentially, you just keep doing prophecies until you get a secret prophecy, and then you complete this secret prophecy, and your forge weapon is the Perfect Paradox shotgun. So, why is this thing so good? Why do I think this weapon is top tier? And in fact, I do believe this is the best legendary PvE shotgun in the game, period. If you want to use a shotgun, there's a slight argument for Legend of Acreus, but if you don't have that or you want to use your exotic slot somewhere else, this is the best legendary shotgun to use. And here's why. Previously, back in the Dizzy, when Destiny 2 first came out, most people out there were in agreement that the Hawthorne's Field Forged shotgun was taking the top slot for PvE shotguns. It's a very powerful shotgun and a great archetype. It has full auto as a perk, and it also has Assault Mag. So if you were using the Hawthorne's Field Forged shotgun, you could run up to an enemy, let's say a boss at the end of a public event, and hold the trigger and bury them in damage. The amount of damage output you could get from 7 rounds of Hawthorne's, especially if you're hitting the crit, was phenomenal. So, how does this shotgun compare, and how could it possibly be better? Well, having looked at the Hawthorne's, we saw it had intrinsically lightweight frame, which is kind of useless. Then we had small bore, great perk, assault mag, great perk, and then full auto, great perk. But moving on to the Perfect Paradox, intrinsically it has rapid fire frame. This is an absolute game changer. It automatically makes this weapon fully automatic. So you basically get an extra free perk with the Perfect Paradox. It has full auto because of its intrinsic perk, not because of another perk it has. And the other perk it has is fantastic. We'll talk about that in a sec. So it's automatically full auto just from the nature of its intrinsic perk. And it has more ammo in reserves. What that looks like in game is that the Hawthorne's is capable of 7 rounds in a magazine with 7 in reserves. The Perfect Paradox is capable of 7 rounds in a magazine and 10 in reserves. So you can have 3 more rounds with the Perfect Paradox, which in a PvE environment, or frankly, almost any environment, is a very, very good thing. Now from there, we also have several other good perks. We have Smooth Bore, again, fantastic shotgun perk. We have Accurized Rounds, just extending the range, very, very good perk. And then in the last slot, that has previously been taken up by full auto on the Hawthorne's, we have Rampage, which is an amazing PvE perk, allowing you to shoot one enemy and gain a damage bonus for the next guy, and that stacks up to 3 times. And with a shotgun, that means that you can very easily get 1 kill. Let's say you're fighting a boss. You can get one shot, 1 kill on a nearby enemy, and then pump the other 6 higher damaging than usual rounds in insanely fast, fully automatic succession into the boss, and it does fantastic damage. But it also allows you to use this weapon on more things more effectively than just a boss. If you have a couple of yellow health enemies, well, enjoy taking them out incredibly quickly. If you just want to kill 7 guys with 7 shots, that's very possible with the Perfect Paradox. So, right now, we're in the position that the Perfect Paradox, when compared to not just a random shotgun, but what was considered the best legendary shotgun in Destiny 2, has essentially an extra perk and more rounds in reserves. Those are 2 huge advantages, and the extra perk is replaced by Rampage, a fantastic PvE perk. But then when we compare these 2 weapons, things get absolutely bonkers. As you can see, the Hawthorne's does beat the Perfect Paradox in a sliver in range. It also beats it in stability and handling. but the important stats are actually identical. Even though this has rapid fire reserves, which usually means it's in its own unique archetype, you can see that the impact is exactly the same. That's right, this weapon is doing the same damage per shot as the Hawthorne's Field Forged Shotgun. And the rounds per minute is 100, which matches the Hawthorne's if you use Assault Mag. So, they are doing the same damage and shooting as fast. But the Perfect Paradox has all of these other advantages with Rapid Fire Frame and of course Rampage. That is bonkers. And by the way, I tested this because I was like, I don't even believe this. Like usually again, Rapid Fire Frame means an own unique archetype with guns only having Rapid Fire Frame. But no, up close, like point blank range, both these guns doing 39 damage per pellet exactly, and each one during my testing had 11 pellets. So again, same damage. And so, there you have it. I mean, this is a pretty clear transition of power. You had the previously best legendary shotgun beaten in pretty much every important way with the Perfect Paradox. And in-game, you really do notice it. It is a beast. Doing public events with the Perfect Paradox is extremely fun and extremely effective. If you're doing a Glimmer extraction and all of the yellow health fallen come charging at you, you can very easily start one-banging them. Maybe the first one will take 2 rounds, but then Rampage kicks in and you are one-shotting every single one of those yellow health enemies, and that means that you're putting 1 shot in and almost always getting a box of power ammo and getting 3 shots back. So it can be very ammo efficient. When the big boss at the end of that Glimmer extraction does come as well, it's very effective. 7 rounds, fully automatic. You can bury damage into an enemy. It's not as efficient as something like a rocket launcher with cluster bombs, however, because I truly believe I think you can out-damage cluster bomb rockets with the Perfect Paradox. 7 rounds extremely fast will do more damage in that short period of time than a cluster bomb rocket shooting, reloading. Even if you do have a rally barricade, you could be beat by the Perfect Paradox's damage, but you are expending a lot more ammunition when you're doing that. 7 rounds is, 2 and a bit power ammo pickups, whereas a rocket launcher gets 1 round per power ammo pickup. So although the Perfect Paradox is better at DPS over a very short time, over time you're going to have a more efficient damage output when you're using a rocket, because 5 rounds of rocket is going to last you quite a while, to be honest. Also, you do have the downside of this weapon just being a shotgun. When you're fighting certain bosses, this is going to be essentially useless. Like certain strike bosses, you are not going to be able to get up to them and damage them. When you're damaging Callus, you can't use this weapon. It would just be useless. And therefore, a rocket is going to have a much more versatile approach to PvE bosses. So that's definitely a downside of this weapon. But if you like shotguns, and you want to do more than just damage bosses, I think this is a great choice for running strikes, for grinding public events. I think you should definitely get this weapon and try it out. Furthermore, I want to mention lastly that although rockets may be better at pure damage output and damaging bosses at the end of the strike, the Perfect Paradox would probably be the better Masterwork weapon. And that's because currently how Masterworks work, they produce an orb on a multi-kill. So if you have a rocket and shoot 1 round of cluster bomb rockets into 7 enemies and all of those 7 enemies die, you're going to produce 1 orb for your Masterwork weapon. But if you have the Perfect Paradox Masterwork, you can extremely easily get with just a couple of shots, or heck, 1 shot if you get 2 kills for 1 hit, but you can get just a couple of rounds off, kill 2 enemies extremely easily, produce an orb, get another 2 kills, produce an orb, get another 2 kills, produce an orb, and you have 1 more round to play around with. So with 1 magazine of Perfect Paradox, you could easily produce 3 orbs as a Masterwork version. So in terms of just producing orbs and efficiency in that level, in the Masterwork level, the Perfect Paradox I think would actually beat out rocket launchers. And so guys, that's it for the video. I wanted to showcase a weapon that will absolutely have an impact on the PvE meta. And I hope you enjoyed the video and found it informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.